Hello, welcome everyone. Today, first let us discuss about constants. Constant is a value that cannot be changed during execution of the program. Exact opposite function of a variable. If we take a variable, we can update value of a variable multiple times, but at a time it can hold only one value. But coming to constant, we can assign a value to a constant only once and the same value will be used in entire program. Basically, there are three categories in constants. Like numeric constant can be either positive or negative number, but default sign is positive. Unless we explicitly mention the sign minus, it is considered as a positive value. And in numeric constant, we have both integer constants without a decimal point and real constant, nothing but floating point, and these real constants have a decimal point. For example, 5.3, 4000.0, 0.0065, etc. And there are three types of integer constants based on the different numbering system, like decimal, octal and hexadecimal. And characters that we can use to represent these numbering system are, for decimal we can use 0 to 9 digits, for octal we can use from 0 to 7, for hexadecimal we can use 0 to 9 digits and alphabets from A to F in both uppercase and lowercase. Examples are 0, 123, 6453. These are decimal numbers. Octal number, it always starts with a 0. So examples are 0, 05, 077, etc. And hexadecimal always starts with 0x. X can be either in uppercase or in lowercase. And examples like 0x23, 0xff, 0xac, etc. And default type of a integer constant is int, but we can explicitly mention the type constant by a suffix like small l or capital L to represent long type, small u or capital U to represent unsigned int, ul to represent unsigned long int data type. For example, if you take 6459, as there is no suffix, it is a integer constant of default type, nothing but int. And here we have a suffix like ul. That means it is a integer constant of unsigned long int. And here the suffix is u. It is a integer constant of unsigned int. Coming to floating constant numbers, to express a very large or very small constants, exponential form is used. Letter E in both uppercase and lowercase is used to represent an exponential form. For example, if we take a number 35 followed by some 8 zeros, this generally we can represent like this, 3.5 into 10 to the power of 9. And in C programming, this we can write as 3.5 e power 9. In place of lowercase e, we can also use uppercase e. And here 0.5067. This can be written as 6.7 into 10 power minus 6. And in C programming, we can write 6.7 e to the power minus 6. And minus 780000, nothing but minus 7.8 into 10 power 5, and this can be written as minus 7.8 e to the power 5 in our programming. Like this, to represent a very large number and very small number, we can use exponential form. And default type of floating point constant is double, but like an integer constant, we can explicitly mention the type of floating constant by using a suffix like f, small f and capital F to represent type float, small l or capital L to represent long double type. Here we have a number 3.2 e to the power 5. As there is no suffix here, the default type of this constant is double. In this number we have a suffix L, nothing but this floating point constant is of type long double. And here we have a suffix F, nothing but this is a floating point constant with type float. So this is all about numeric constant. Default type of integer constant is int and default type of floating point constant is double. Next, character constant. So character constant is nothing but a single character enclosed within single quotes. As we discussed already in previous video, each character have equivalent integer value, which is a ASCII value of that key, and those values we can get from ASCII table. And few examples for character constants are some letter 2, alphabet D, some space, and special character hash. Next, string constants. So string constant is nothing but group of characters enclosed within double quotes. And one important thing of a string is at the end of every string a null character like \0 is placed automatically by the compiler. And few examples of string constant are like string and 4, 5, 6 and some spaces and A. So here we need to understand the difference between A enclosed within single quotes and enclosed within double quotes. If it is enclosed within single quotes means it is a character constant and it has equivalent integer value, nothing but ASCII value. When the letter A is enclosed within double quotes, it is a string, and at the end it has null character. Both are different. Now let us see few examples on these constants. For example, if we take an integer constant, some 6558. So equivalent octal number is this and hexa number is this one. So now let us see how to represent an integer constant in different numbering systems in C programming. 6558. So in decimal we can use %d conversion specification to print this number. As we discussed, in C programming, to represent octal number, we should write 0 before the number. So it should be 01466, and conversion specification we should use %o as it is octal. And to hexa number we should use either small x or capital X, and before the number we should write 0x and then number, it is 199e. So now let us build and run the program. This is how we need to represent different integer constants in C programming. And one more thing, so this is a hexadecimal integer constant. By using conversion specification, it automatically converts from hexa to decimal. Equivalent decimal number of 199e is 6558. Like this we can do any conversions. See, as there is no suffix here after this integer constant, the type of this integer constant is int. And we know the range of data type int is this one. Okay. For example, if I use value more than this range, some 8, what is the output of this program? And these lines, like whatever the lines which we do not want to execute, that we can comment by using forward slashes. These are called single line comments. So now this line will not be included in our program. This is for just information purpose, these lines. Okay, now let us build and run. It is not the input value which we have given. So in these cases we need to give the suffix here like unsigned. See, now this value falls within the range of unsigned int, and as this is unsigned int, I am using conversion specification %u. Now let us see what is the output. So it is the same value which we have given as input. Like this, based on the input value, we need to select the data type. This is applicable for variables and constants both. Now let us see size of a floating point constant. So if you observe here, I did not give any suffix. That means by default it is a floating point constant of type double. Let us build and run the program. See, it shows 8 bytes, nothing but it is of type double. And for example, if I keep suffix f after the number, then let us see what is the size. It is 4 bytes. As we kept a suffix, now it is a floating point constant of type float. If I use suffix l, we can use either small l or capital L. Now let us see what is the size. It is 16 bytes. So here it is a floating point number followed by suffix l. That means it is a floating point constant of type long double. And size of this is 16 bytes. And one simple example on character constant is, So character constant is a single character enclosed within single quotes. For example, A. So here A is a character constant, and to print A on output screen we can use conversion specification %C. Like this we can use character constants in our program. And for string we need to use double quotations, and string is nothing but group of characters, and to print string on screen we should use %S conversion specification. So ABC is a string, and at the end of ABC there will be null character, and that null character will be placed by compiler automatically. It happens to every string. Here A is a character constant. As we discussed, every character have equivalent integer value. So that integer value we can print using %D conversion specification. Now what is the meaning of this statement is it prints alphabet A ASCII value. So capital A ASCII value is 65. If we have to use a constant value several times in our program, then we can give a name to that value that can be used in our program, and this is generally defined at the beginning of our program. And syntax to define symbolic constant is hash define and name, whatever the name we want to use in our program, and what is the value, that constant value. And here this constant value can be numeric constant, character constant, or string constant. Example, hash define. So we can give some user defined name like max to a constant value 1000. It is an integer constant. To this integer constant we are giving a name max, and this name we can use in our program. Similarly, this is a pi value and it is a floating constant, and to this we are giving a name. And here instead of this character constant S, we can use this name in our program, character. And instead of ABC string constant, we can use name. Okay, for example, if I have a requirement to print 1000 value in different numbering system like in decimal, octal and hexadecimal, so this is a program. So instead of writing this constant value 3 times, we can define a symbolic constant here like hash define some value 1000. So in our entire program, wherever we want to use this integer constant 1000, in that place we can use value. So this is how we define a symbolic constant and we use it. Let us build the program. See. And we also can use const keyword. We have a keyword const. So we can use const keyword for the same purpose, like const int some value equal to 1000. So here what we are doing is we have declared one constant value which is of integer type, and we assign value 1000 to this. So wherever we need 1000 constant, we can use value. See. So if you see, if you remove this const, it is a variable declaration. So we need to declare as per variable declaration rules, and when you keep const keyword, it becomes a const, and we will not be able to change this value in our program. We can only assign once the value, and the same value will be used in our program. But if you try to update the value, see what happens. So it throws compilation error, assignment of read-only variable value. So constant is nothing but it is read-only variable. So we can only assign value once, and the same value will be used in our program. But if you remove this keyword, then you can update value multiple times. So we already discussed about these comments, 2 forward slashes. This instruction will not be included in our executable file. This is only for information purpose. And these comments are used for increasing readability of the program. And they explain the purpose of the program and helpful in understanding the program. When you work on projects, so it will have thousands of files and number of instructions. So it will be difficult to understand what is the logic after some time. Not only for you, when you write proper comments, so it will be useful for your colleagues to understand what is the purpose of the program and the logic what you have written. So it is always advised to write proper comments wherever it is necessary. And we can use these two forward slashes to comment one single line. We also can use forward slash asterisk and at the end again asterisk and forward slash. So the same also will be used for single line comments. When you want to comment a single line, we can enclose that single line within these symbols. And same, if you want to comment multiple times, so those lines shall be enclosed within same symbols. Starting forward slash and asterisk and at the end asterisk and forward slash. So like this we can do single line comments and multiple line comments. As I told, we can also use these two forward slashes to comment a single line, but it is always recommended to use this syntax for single line comments. So finally, today we discussed about constants and what are the different types of constant available in C. We discussed about the keyword const and how to add comments in our programming, and we have seen few simple programs on constants.